The camera's there. Oh, it disappeared. Where's my TV controller? Hello everybody, welcome to another stream. Hey guys, welcome to another stream. Oh, where's my camera facing? Oh man. Yep. Hold on guys. Well, before I start the stream, I just want to let you guys know that how I'm doing and this is weird. My wire for the camera is literally under everything in my drawer. Nah, that's too high. Hey guys, before I start this Let's Play, because I decided to do this Let's Play of Shining Resonance Refrain, because I've been eager to check this game out fully and play it, try it out, see how I like it and stuff. But before I start the Let's Play, I just wanted to let you guys know how I've been doing so far, because I did make a few streams where I do express myself and how I usually feel. But I cannot wait to tell you guys that I've been sleeping a little better than I used to without the Ingrezza. But the Ingrezza, when I told the Genoa pharmacist, the one that gives me the shipments for the medication, well, I told them the real reason behind why I wanted to take Ingrezza. And that's because the posture sways I had early this year. Hey guys, I no longer have posture sways. I do have tics here and there, but I also feel a sense of relief, less stress, because let's just say I stay up a lot longer in my room, and when I come downstairs, I try to spend a little time with my dad. If my mom triggers me, because she has dementia, by the way, and I've looked up things about dementia, and my dad explained to me about her rough childhood and stuff, because she had to do a lot on her own, and so she has a lot of depression, a lot of sadness bottled up. So whenever I get the chance to go downstairs and then go back up, because I know that the illness she has now, which is dementia, it is basically to a point where it is worse. Okay, guys? But when I say worse, is meaning it's not forgetting everything. It's just she mentions her depression like she's feeling guilt, you know? And she's stressed and she has anxiety, because my dad, I always talk to her, I always ask my dad, did my mom get any sleep? And he says no, she's never getting sleep. So that means my mom ain't aware of it, but she does have a lot of anxiety. So whenever I take a long time for myself, because that's usually what I need to do, and I do feel a lot less stressed than I usually do. I do get tics when I try to remind her things, and the way she takes it sometimes, And there are times where I shout at her, and I do try to remind her while I'm shouting my words to her that you don't have to be upset. You don't have to feel bad. And I know that what you have in your head here, with memory-wise, isn't really a memory issue. It's more of a depression of shock type of issue. Because she didn't just have to deal with family passing away. It wasn't just because her mother passed away. When I was a child, when she was still raising me alongside my dad, I was little. I ended up arguing with her to a point where she got super stressed, to a point where she got a stroke. She landed in the lamp in the corner of the living room. I was so scared. And ever since then, I've been, whenever I'm around her nonstop, I get stressed when I'm around her every time. And I never bothered to take a lot of time to myself. So, hey, I'm much better than I was before, and I no longer have posture sways because of the Ingrezza I have. But I'll keep it just in case if I need it. If I get posture sways again, who knows? But I learned that if you take a lot of time to yourself, whatever that causes you issues due to the negative stress, as long as you take time to yourself, you're fine. And you won't have those, stress-caused disorders. Like, the reason why I had posture sways was due to a lot of negative stress and triggers. Every now and then I'll just have a few triggers because I only stay with my dad for a short amount of time until I get a little bit stressed. And if it starts to get bad, I go to my room. Here's my room, see, nobody here but me. I sent a message to my psychiatrist, and the pharmacy that sends the Ingrezza, I let them know that the true reason why I wanted to take Ingrezza is so I can get rid of that posture sway. Because whenever I was in bed, I was like, you see my head move like this. And that's due to my posture sways around my whole body. And I learned that posture sways are a disorder that affects the movement of your whole body. It can make your face do this. It can make your body move all at once. And that's a posture sway. It makes your whole body like wiggly, but like, I feel a sense of relief because I spend a lot more time trying to take time for myself. And there are times where when my dad is gonna go shopping, and there are times where I just ask him for a drink. Because I've been trying to focus on nutrition, like, check this out. I learned that Arizona tea, regardless, can help your mind because it's tea. And it's not just because it's tea. I learned that the reason why tea, any type of herbal tea, can prevent you from getting worse, and if you eat some stuff, because before, the reason why I had posture sways isn't because the reason why it's gone isn't just because the Ingrezza. it's also nutritious wise. So there are times where I try to be eating stuff that is good for me, but I haven't worked out. But have I lost some weight and has it stayed at that part of the weight? Yeah. Um, so for me, I would say I weigh 255 pounds, um, maybe around 256 pounds, but I think if I realize correctly, because since I'm doing a lot better, and I was 250 something pounds, but you never know, things could take a turn for the worse if I stay downstairs too long with my mom. So that's why if I feel stressed and if I don't feel like going out, I come to my room. But if I feel like it's worth me taking a walk because I feel like I need to take a walk, then of course I would, you know? And there are times where my dad goes to Dollar Tree, okay? US, New York, Old Village here. Um, I'm in the rural area, by the way. So there are times where the internet ain't that good because the cables here are connected to all this area in different houses. One line connects to another line to another house and another line to another house. So that one line that leads to our house will also lead to other locations here in other houses. Because, see, we just have one line, okay, in our house. And that one line will connect to the other side of the pole, right? And that pole, the wire from this house links to the other side of the location, the other side of this area here. And so it connects to other houses. So meaning, because this whole area, the rural area, is one whole line, so if I'm using the internet here, whoever's using the internet in this location, they use the same service. And at first I didn't understand that. So because I live in a rural area, there are sometimes people in the same location that use the signal in the same location as we are, in the same whole area. So I found out when the download speed goes down, and it's not usually that great, it's either upgrade time or they just have issues with their router. But like, my download speed is fine. It's not perfect. Just letting you guys know, it ain't perfect. But yeah, I've been recovering a lot more easier. I don't know if I have a message from my therapist, because I also take therapists, by the way, guys. And it's been helping from time to time whenever I get the chance to talk to him. There were a few times, because I was stressfully negatively, that I would forget that, oh, today is my therapy day, right? And so by the time it's past my therapy time, there are times, where I miss my therapist, and at 6 a.m., not 6, around 6 or 5 p.m., sometimes 4 p.m., I'm like, oh, snap, I forgot today's my therapy day. Because that's usually when I'm downstairs. And I'm only downstairs for like a few minutes. And, I'm more focused on trying to take care of my mom, sometimes a little too much to a point where it stresses me out. Oh boy. But that other day, the day before yesterday, I stayed up all night. But it wasn't due to anxiety per se. It was due to me wanting to spend time before I go to bed to you know, enjoy activities to keep me stress free. That I learned that video games or a board game, any activity is considered anything you do like a game, any type of game. So it could be a game board, a game system like video game, or it could be I don't know, anything to keep your mind distracted, you know. Like there are times where I do make food for myself when I don't want to rely on that because he's usually sitting down watching the news and learning about this stupid guy who's our president. He's stupid. But yeah, there's a lot of drama going on due to politics, but are a lot of us really thinking about that somewhat? Yeah. But a lot of us try to move forward. A lot of us, we struggle, in this world together. And that's a lot of that. That's the other reason why I felt so negatively stressed. And so, whenever I watch news with my dad, I watch it with him later in the day. I go downstairs when my mom is about to go up, And yesterday I went down for a short while because it was already near the end of the day, So I wanted to spend at least a little bit of my time with my dad. Just letting you guys know, I am alongside my cousins. We are the only next generation. A lot of our family who were already at that age, like my Aunt Norma, which I call her Mama Cola. That's my nickname to my aunt. She passed away before my uncle passed away. And so it was hard at that time, losing another family member. Even my mom was kind of sad, but she just didn't cry. And I tell her the reason why you can't cry is because you bottle up your sadness. You keep it in here. And so, if I searched on the internet, if you bottle up your tears, will it prevent you to have capability of crying and expressing your sadness? And I'm pretty sure it'll say yes. So, I try to remind my mom that, but she does forget certain things, some things. But she still has a type of dementia that is getting worse. So that's why there are times where I would spend more time up here than down there. I would spend time down there with my dad when it's about to be completely the end of the day. Because I'm just trying to do my own thing to keep myself distracted from the negative emotion, the negative stress, the negative triggers. Whew! I talk way too fast. So I've been doing fine. I've been, from time to time, whenever I don't miss my therapist, which he'll be, because right now he's off for a week, so for this week only. So this next Wednesday, I'll be having time for my therapist. And now, I'm much more alert if I stay in my room and I just go downstairs to get my medication. I take clonazepam and benzotropin because I have disabilities. And so the reason why I take those was because I asked my psychiatrist, the guy who prescribes the medication, I asked him, is there any pills, medication that don't usually have side effects? And he says, hold on, I can check for you. And so clonazepam and benzotropin, those two pills, are the ones that are much better than the ones I've taken before. Because there was one before that I used to take to help my self-esteem, and that was Haloperidol, I think it's called. And my cousin started taking it too, but I let her know that that was the pill from when I was young that I got to a point because they always increased the dosage, and at the last moment, with my last moments of those pills, before I ended it, that first night, I had seizures. And I've told people that who usually go through that, if a family member or, my therapist, he works in a residence. He said that one of the people in the residence he worked in had a seizure one time, and he couldn't call me because of that. And so this was a critical seizure, by the way. And this guy never had a seizure before. And so when I finally got the chance to talk with my therapist about it, and he told me the whole situation, I'm like, I know how it feels to be with seizure because I used to take a medication and I used to get seizures too. So I know how it feels to, when you have seizures, it's like your whole body is not just in shock, but paralyzed, and you're shaking, but you can't control your movement. Your brain is not, it's at a point where it won't be able to function the right way. So when you have seizures, it's basically due to the overdose of that pill that causes the seizure, because all seizure is due from stress and the side effect of the pill. So when you get seizures, it's your brain not functioning well, because see, the brain, like usual, connects through your whole system. It lets you see because whatever you see gets recorded into your brain, right? In the medulla oblongata. Anything in your body that moves is due to your brain functioning to a point where it helps you focus on your movement. It helps your body focus on moving. Because without the brain, if it wasn't functioning the right way, then your body also has issues. And so my mom's brain, due to dementia, it causes her to limp, her leg gets worse a lot easier, her health gets worse a lot easier. And so I didn't have nothing completely wrong with my brain. It's just when I had seizures, okay guys, when you have seizures, is because I would say is because when the brain can't focus, on helping your body focus. Because everything, when your arms move, why does it move? There's a nerve, but where is that nerve connected and lead to? Here, right? If I'm wrong, I would look it up right now. But I realized that every time when I was trying to move my hand, because I fought my seizure, okay? I fought my seizure. And it did feel to me like it was a critical seizure. To me, it felt like that. But I know it wasn't. Because when you get seizures and you're trying to move, but you can't move that good, see, this wall right here leads to my parents' side of the room. So when I had the seizures, and I was fighting the seizures, even though I was suffering so bad, and I did cry while I was having the seizures. I said, am I gonna die? Is my life gonna end here? I said, no. I have to get my parents out. So I went like this. And then, this was at nighttime, okay, guys? And I was also making sounds of tears, sadness. So when I knocked on this wall, my mom and dad came rushing to my room. And they saw what was going on with me. And yeah, when I was having that seizures, I was almost in complete panic mode. But I know seizures can also come due to stress. Because a lot of people experience stress in different ways. Sometimes they're just born with that problem. And believe you me, guys, I've experienced watching a teenage boy who was disability-wise, autism. I saw that boy in my own classroom when I used to go to school back in the day. And I thought it was just faking. I didn't know anything about this boy. And so, this boy was born with health problems. And when I finally understood that it was a health issue, whenever he had a seizure, I would ask the teacher, is he gonna be okay? Is he alright? I hope he don't get bad. Because, when I finally come to understood it was a health problem, because there are people that have not memory problems, just health problems here, to a point where their brain don't function very well, to a point where they're basically at risk of seizures. Like the health problem that, seizure is just a thing that where you can't focus on your body, At least that's how I see it. I could check to fully understand how seizures and why seizures happen when it happens. What is it because of? I could do that, yeah. Because since early this year, I was always spending too much time with negative depression through my mom, and man, it was hard. It was tough. But I feel like $1,000,000, I feel happy. I'm in a spot where it's my comfort zone. And so, yeah, I do get triggered somewhat, but like, if I get triggered to a point, I just go upstairs, because triggering when you have ADHD leads to stress. And so, man, am I glad I took a lot more time to myself than I do since then, And that I usually sometimes go on walks, depending on if I feel like it, right? Even if I'm stressed, I sometimes, when I feel like taking a walk, I go with my dad because he usually goes shopping at Dollar Tree. And so I go to Dollar Tree whenever he goes to Dollar Tree sometimes. And sometimes it's not due to wanting a gift card. Sometimes it's just to ask my dad for something that will help me nutritional wise, Because the whole reason why stress negatively took effect on me, and I've almost went through complete depression to despair. But I also told myself that if I ever do think about suicide, I don't want to do suicide because then I have to feel more pain. I think in my head, if I try to commit suicide, then I'm actually forcing myself to either cut my hand and feel pain, or cut my head, my neck, feel pain. Because I've heard a lot of things about people who committed suicide differently. Okay? So, Robin Williams, who is one of the biggest celebrities since time, when he passed away, his memory lives in all of us, because he showed people joy, laughter. Even as a comedian, he helped people smile, I don't know why he became a comedian. Maybe he became a comedian because he wanted to put smiles on faces of other people, make them laugh, to be happy. He sure did make me feel happy, when he usually was alive. But when I heard the passing of him passing away, I was like, damn. And so I looked it up. He went down because he was so depressed. But the thing is, he would never show his depression, And then he committed suicide while no one was there with him. And there's a lot of different reasons that people are thinking the reason why he died. And a lot of them are rumors, Some people say they found him hanging on a rope with his neck in that rope, hanging like this. But I don't think that was the case. And a lot of people like us who looked up to a guy like him. Hey, even we look up to Jim Carrey because he's a legend, he's a comedian legend, and also a movie legend, And, man, and, Gabriel Iglesias, man, he's a cool dude too. He's a cool comedian. And I actually support his YouTube channel. And so, whenever he makes a funny video clip on YouTube, because all these celebrities have a YouTube channel. And yeah, there are some female rappers who do dirty raps and dirty graphical musical rapping videos that are not safe for YouTube, okay? I feel like those ladies who rap and who are celebrities and try to show a lot of boob skin and everything. Okay, yeah, we get it. You want to express your body, but do it on Instagram. Don't do it on YouTube, man. YouTube is for family appropriate content. If you get to that point where you're now at that point where your channel is at risk, okay? I reported this female celebrity on YouTube, okay? And when I reported the video and her channel all together, it's because I told in that report to YouTube saying, how is this on here? Aren't you preventing all this from coming here? Nope. Turns out the YouTube is basically changing a few rules, you know. They're making it where a lot of people should have the freedom. But other people who get pissed off and think, oh, that's inappropriate. Oh, that's inappropriate. Censor your video, lady. So I learned that now a lot of social media platforms are letting people express their, not just their culture, but through their music in their own way, you know? And yeah, there'll be a lot of people on YouTube that are toxic against people who try to show and express their freedom and their rights by, you know, there's a lot of celebrities when they make a music video, and they do also have a YouTube channel, or other people on YouTube who get permission from these singers who work with them, they upload their music video. Because YouTube isn't just one station, okay, with one content creator. No. There's a lot of idols, singers that sing on YouTube that people who work with those idols say, hey, I can upload your music on YouTube, it'll be a hit, right? And so that's awesome. That's a good thing in a way and a bad thing in a way. It's like a double-edged sword. So it's good, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, okay? There are women on YouTube who are rappers that go too far, okay? So when I reported this black female American rapper, I reported her for a reason, because she was going too far, showing a little too much skin, okay? Like, if you're gonna show body, don't show too much skin. And if you make a rap that is having curses and sexual theme, go a little easy on the sexual theme. You can still rap your heart to your heart content until you feel satisfied. Because when people rap, it's not just for popularity, right? They only become popular by chance. Some become popular because they tell people, hey, I want to be famous. You know, they abuse the system of popularity. Such as Trump. He's abusing the system. And turns out the people that used to follow him on social media only followed him because they thought he was funny, you know? And so, like, yeah, there's some people that abuse content. Like, there's a female Twitch streamer who also makes streams on YouTube. Or not streams on YouTube. She streams on Twitch, makes videos that she streamed on Twitch, and upload parts of the clips on YouTube. Because I don't really know if she actually streams on YouTube, but like, there are times where she makes reaction videos to other content creators. And I'm just gonna let you guys know a story, because I want to respect this content creator, even though I'm just small, and I want to let the world know in this video. So this streamer, who goes by the name Denims, okay, she's aware of our president, okay, but there was a video where she reacted to a guy known as Tectone on YouTube, and so she went too far, okay. There are times where everyone goes too far, even on social media. But like, we have to understand. So, Tectone, in one of his videos, I even saw that video, and then I saw him reacting to the girl who was reacting to his video that I actually watched, okay? And so, when I saw a video that he uploaded talking about his father who served the military, and hey, he didn't just protect his own son, he protected everybody in the city in the U.S., because they're U.S. citizens, okay? So, his father didn't just serve the country, he served the United States, okay? He was a veteran. He was a soldier. He worked for the military, you see. So, when I saw that video and he said how his father was his hero, I was like, oh man, I agree with him when he said his father did his service to protect him. But he didn't just protect his son, he protected all of us. He served on behalf of the United States. Not just him protecting his son, but he protected all of us in this state. By fighting a war that, was very dark, and there's always going to be a war. But the wars that are happening right now, we can't get involved. So, our president now can't get involved. If he gets the military involved with any side, right? Oh, and did you hear the news, guys? Trump invited Putin and offered him to go with him to the military base in Alaska, which I didn't even know they had a military base in Alaska. But I knew they have a governor in Alaska, so I kind of figured, so wherever there's a leader on certain parts of the country or state, there's always a military base. That's what came up in my head. So, and here's the great news, guys. It's a double-edged sword, but it's actually great news in a way. And yeah, in a way, it's kind of risky. But let's just say, when Trump goes over there with Putin to Alaska, that's if he goes with Putin to Alaska, and if Putin goes to Alaska with him. I guarantee you right now, guys, because Putin is pissed off as hell because Trump said he was going to support Putin with mineral resources so Putin could make more weapon equipment, okay? So now Trump is trying to give access to Putin to equipment, like weaponry equipment. He's trying to supply him with resources. But the problem is, Trump may be only going there alone with him. And he wants to get Zelensky too. Because he wants Putin to cease fire. That's what he's always saying. But what he means is the opposite. Okay, guys? And so because Putin is pissed off at Trump, and I tell you right now, when I saw in the news where Putin isn't too happy with Trump, because Trump always try to kiss up to Putin's ass, okay? And so, if he takes Putin solo, and he ain't able to get Zelensky, you know Zelensky ain't stupid, man. Because his people need him the most. And he knows if he goes with Putin and Trump together to their military base, they're just gonna try to, like, Trump's plan is basically to get Zelensky, to lure Zelensky to a point where now Putin can take down Zelensky, but not only Zelensky, but also Trump. Because, you know, Putin and Zelensky, so the Ukrainian leader alongside the Russian leader, see, Putin is the worst person possible. He has a lot of criminal records of him being like mentally psychopathic. And now Trump has that record too. So, if Putin ain't happy, then he's gonna make Trump suffer. Meaning, if Trump gets the chance to get Putin to the Alaskan base, or the military base, that's it, buddy. Trump is gonna get his ass whooped. And not just whooped, but his ass killed, you know? Because we all knew this was coming, you know? We all knew that Trump wanted to ask for trouble. And so, yeah, if he gets taken down, we already know that the other side of the government that have soldiers that will serve this country, a lot of them soldiers are still young men, you know, because they got fired by Trump himself. Trump kicked those military that had experience out. So, and the Democratic colleagues, I'm not no Democrat. I'm just saying, from my point of view, which side I think is trying to improve the security and our people's citizen safety, you know? So, yeah, Kamala lost, and yeah, she ain't running anymore because she did say and stated that she will not be running again. But Obama, man, he was the best president that ever happened in this world when he ran twice. So he had first 4 years, and they put him for another 4 years, and then he left office. But he could have stayed in office if he understood what was going to happen before then. He didn't, I don't think he knew. He wasn't expecting Trump to run against Hillary. But also, by law, you're supposed to only have 2 terms. Meaning you're supposed to have only 8 years. But in emergencies, if you're still in office, what I learned is you can run a third term. If you're in office, if people don't see that the other side can do the job, if the other guy who's trying to run can't get the job done, but he ain't running, it's just he wants to run, but they already know he can't get the job done, right? So he can't, like, they take him out of office, he can't run a third term because he's out of office and he's leaving the White House. But like, these are things that at first I didn't even know. And so because Trump is still in office and he is going to try to run a third term, but guess what? Everybody that voted for him, that he promised his voters, they're all turning against him. The only people that are still supporting him are some of the Republican congressmen or senators or governors. Some of them. The rest of the majority of Republicans that hate this guy, they're working together with Democratic colleagues. You see, this is how it should have been from the start, right? Trump should have just decided he should have just made the decision saying he would work together with Democrats. But instead he lies, and then he blames everything on the other side, instead of admitting the truth that he's the cause of all this criminal actions in this city and around the country. And he's the cause of why there's toxicity towards the countryside, okay? And I guarantee you they have more men who support Trump that are white supporter men. And there are other white supporters who are no longer supporting him because, you know, a lot of the majority of white supporters are parents who have children. And so one of the guys who used to help Trump but decided to go away from Trump because he has a child, and if I remember correctly, his child is transgender or autistic. One of the two. And Trump, he wants to take people of different gender and people who has a relationship in a different way. He's trying to take female away from female and men who are in love with men. Okay? That means people who are gay, who are in a relationship, and who understand that the meaning love is not sexual, okay? It's love. You know, love is where, you know, how if a man and a woman, a straight couple, right? They give each other a kiss in the mouth or a kiss in the lips, depending on how they feel comfortable, how they kiss their husband, or how the husband feels comfortable the way he kisses his wife, right? We all show love in different ways, okay? There are times where some people, even the people who are married, you know, they don't kiss in the lips, but they'll kiss in the cheek and try to, you know, be there for their loved one. And when they have kids, of course, they're going to be there for their child too, because their child is the next generation. Trump is trying to take away the next generation. And I know I changed the subject from how I was doing, because I'm doing really great now compared to early this year. But like, I just want to spread the the information that I learned political wise as well. And after all this, I'll start playing. And yeah, it's almost 1 hour stream, but you don't have to worry. I'll keep continuing the stream until my friend gets on. I met a lot of friends on PlayStation party chats, after streaming, after just joining someone who I already made friends with. And a lot of those friends that I met, a lot of them were children. But on the PlayStation, Like back then, there were stupid people, okay? I'm not gonna lie. They had people on the Xbox. A lot of the people that are usually on the Xbox are some likely toxic, And they would troll you. Even on the live stream, there are people sometimes that would come to your stream after you already have one viewer who is supporting you, respecting you. And the other person who joins, that second person who joins, only joins to say, "Oh, your stream sucks." I don't care what people think about my stream. Back then, I used to care about that. But I learned that the people that are saying, "Oh, your stream sucks," they're only trying to bait you. And so, when a person in my stream gets to a point where he's trying to put toxicity towards my stream, you know what's gonna happen, man. Either he's gonna get timed out, and I would increase the amount of time I time him out, and at the last moment, after I timed him out 3 different amount of times for a different certain amount of times, while he's timed out for like 1 hour to the final amount of hours, and if he comes back to the stream, that's it, buddy. You're getting banned permanently. If when I ban you, when you're abusing terms of service on YouTube, you have the right to stand up for yourself, not only as a streamer, not only as a small YouTuber, but even as a big content creator, because Tectone is a big content creator, right? But like, he always don't care what the bad people say about it. But can he still feel that sense of depression? Somewhat, yeah, of course. We're only human, okay? We get stressed from time to time. That's just how we are. That's how we are created, We are created to feel, and when we feel, there are times where when we get stressed, that's a sort of part of feeling, Anything you go through in life is part of you, Whatever you go through, whatever environment you went through in that environment. And so I became a little more wiser and wiser because whenever I have friends of the family over who understand, and then I have a conversation with that family member or friendly member, and I tell them how I learned that a lot of us go through a lot of stress in different ways. And I learned that the best thing is to take time for yourself. So when I told a friend or family member that, they're like, wow, John, that's true. You're exactly right. And so then they tell me, wow, John, you've grown to be so wise. And when they say that, I say, thanks for the nice compliment. I appreciate it. And so they say how wise I am, how knowledgeable I'm becoming. Even if I don't know math, and if I don't know how to spell certain words, at least I know how to express myself. And at least I'm learning to socialize by streaming. So whoever ends up joining my stream, commenting in the chat in the live stream, some of those people will probably be like, yep, I agree with you. Because the way I believe it is, I love anime, okay? I love Japanese culture, okay? And so I respect their culture. But it's not just Japanese culture. When I see other countries with their culture being removed, I'm like, man, why? You know? So every day, at the last few hours of this day, or that other day, when I take time with my dad to watch the news, I feel so bad for the people in Israel and Gaza, because the people I feel more sad for is the people in Gaza, which are the Palestinians, okay? The Palestinians live around Israel on the other side, which is Gaza. And if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't mislead me. If you try misleading me, of course. And if you get like to a point where if you're chatting in the comments in my live stream saying, oh no, Gaza and Palestinians, they took our land. No! I don't know if you realize this, but Bill Clinton, I learned the reason why Palestinians have to deal with bad blood with Jews in Israel, okay? It's because someone killed the original leader that was originally agreeing to make peace with Palestinians as long as they're both able to see eye to eye, you know? And so that original old man who used to be an Israel leader, the original Israel leader, who was agreeing to have a relationship with Palestinians. Because, you know, that old man who was the original governor when Bill Clinton was president. And there are a lot of freaking lies, rumors from Republican members, because, you know, if a guy who tries to do right as a leader, because the leader who is doing right is also making a lot of money. How? Because he is improving not just the relationship between Palestinians and Israel, and he didn't even get the chance. Bill Clinton didn't even get the chance because the Republican members, if you look at history, okay, with Abraham Lincoln, which Trump members try and talk about, but they mislead with that history. And then you have people who mislead about George Washington, okay? And then I learned that Ronald Reagan, was it Ronald Reagan? I think it was Ronald Reagan who tried to warn people, telling them in political wise, we should not resort to tariffs, right? Or screwing up tariffs. And guess what? Trump always mentions Ronald Reagan. Why? Because Ronald Reagan, I believe it was Ronald Reagan. Hold on, let me just make sure and check. Because it could have been a different guy. Who knows? Hold on, guys. We're gonna if some of you guys don't know about it, then you're in good timing to be here. Because I am going to make this Let's Play. It's just I just wanna also make sure to let people know things, that Trump mentioned and try to mislead. Okay? Hold on. What was the president that tried to talk about tariffs to explain how it works and not to abuse it? Let's see. Ronald Reagan. Here we go. Yeah, Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan, I believe he was a Republican. I'm not too sure. Let me check. Because like they say, there's bad sometimes in the Democrat colleagues, but there's also good people in the Democrat colleagues, okay? And there's good people in the Republican side, but now this future of Republican parties, they're abusing it, okay? Was Ronald Reagan a Republican president that tried to warn people that if tariffs get set the wrong way, will it take... Let's see. Yes, Ronald Reagan, a Republican president, often warned about the potential negative consequences of the protectionist trade policy, including tariffs, set in the wrong way. He believed that while tariffs might seem like a patriotic way to protect American jobs and industries, in the short term, they could lead to several negative outcomes. So now I'm going to show you guys information. Is Donald J. Trump misleading with the tariffs and increasing the products for income for coming here? See, the tariffs he made is for the countryside to buy stuff from us. And the tariffs that he made, that makes it where the country, when they bring products here. So here it is. Trump argues tariffs make important goods more expensive. Incentivizing consumers to choose domestically produced alternatives. Um, he also states that tariffs will bring in significant revenue for the government. That's not true. That's misleading. Okay? Because it hasn't been doing the government good. It's been doing him good because he says, I'm the government, and anything that we receive for the United States, any income, any money, profit will go to me. But he don't say that. What he says is something else, while he means the opposite, which is just what I just said. He says that we are making America wealthy again, right? Because he exposed the truth. He was trying to make himself wealthy again, not Americans, him. And let me just tell you right now, there is a history. I'll search it right now. Was Donald J. Trump, is Trump stealing money from people, banks, through the government? AI. In short term, the claim that Donald Trump is stealing money from people's banks through the government is not supported by the available information. And they're saying that now. Look, they say that there are claims against Donald Trump stealing from other people's banks. Well, it may not be people who are citizens, but it is business owners, okay? So now they change it here, saying that it is dramatically false. Several legal and financial matters involve Donald Trump, have been the subject of public scrutiny, or suggest theft and the banks by way of the government. Civil fraud judgment. A New York judge found Trump and his company liable for years of fraudulent conduct in a civil fraud case brought by the state's Attorney General, Lydia James. I hope this is not the lady that has the bad skin compared to what she used to have her skin in her face like. Because, she's still a young woman. But for some reason her face looks so dang bad. And if you look at Trump's face, it's more worse than you think, okay? But Lydia James, this involved exaggerating the value of Trump's assets and net worth on financial statement giving to banks and insurers to secure loans. Is that really true? See, these are all misleading information that I just found here. Oh my God, man. Is people worried because they're losing money due to taxes increasing because of Trump's tariffs? Yes. Come on, say it. Okay. Higher price tariffs and taxes on important goods. That's not what I'm trying to look up. Okay? I'm trying to look up. Okay. See, these are the things that the whole people in this city who supported and voted for Trump, because these people who supported and voted for Trump, a lot of them are business owners who are mostly white voters, but are now against Trump. Because what Trump tried to tell all these white business owners, he tried to tell them, oh, don't work with these immigrants, they're terrible. Dude, these immigrants are not immigrants, but they are immigrants, but they are citizens because they signed papers for citizenship. So, okay. So the tariffs are taxes on imported goods. Yeah, which is also increased in price, which can lead to higher prices for consumers as business pass on those costs. According to CNN and the Peterson Institute for International Economic Surveys show a majority of Americans believe tariffs will increase product costs, including a majority of independents. And even some Republicans, some businesses have already begun raising prices, and economists warn of potentially more widespread increases later in the year. That means later this year, guys. This is for this year, okay? Because that's when he started putting tariffs against all the countries and against products that come here. Think about it, right? Did Trump try to mislead people saying that he was willing to lower the cost of product goods? In conflicts during and after his recent president campaign, Donald Trump has repeatedly claimed he can and will lower the cost of a variety of various goods. But Trump's tariffs and implemented tariffs on imported goods are taxes that can increase, not lower, they increase. And he also made a promise of deflation. A general decrease in prices is rare and often, well, not him, but it's telling here, it's letting people know. Deflation in general, deflation, general decrease in prices is a rare and often associated with economic crisis. Moreover, global markets are influenced by numerous factors beyond a single political leader. Direct control, making broad price reduction difficult to achieve quickly. That's what he did it early this year. He was already starting off to make it difficult. So Recent reports indicate that despite Trump's claims, some groceries, including eggs, have actually increased since he took office in January. According to CNN, this has been attributed to factors like bird flu, epidemic impacting eggs. Yeah, just letting you know, the only reason why bird flu existed was because Trump was screwing farms. Okay, where do these eggs come from? Farms. And he don't own those other farms. There are regular farmers who have their own farming animals, and they are raised, they are bred, they breed their animals, and sometimes they will sell the male character, the male cow, or the male animal in general, because there are male farm animals, because they have other males after they breed one male and one female. They make two gender animals that are young, right? And how do we get our resources for hamburger goods, right? To make cheeseburgers, or how do all these restaurants get the resources, the produce to make their cheeseburgers, right? Oh my God, it's crazy, you know? So in the months following the recent election, Trump acknowledged the difficulty of lowering groceries, meaning he does not know how to deal with the situation on how to lower the cost of grocery prices of all these goods, okay? Like nutrition meals that get put here in the US from the farms. It's important to know, I'm not going to read the other whole thing, okay? I'm going to change it to this one here. It's important to know that perspective on the impact of Trump's policies on products, costs differ, and the economic effects of variety of various policies are often complex and subject to debate amongst economists and political figures. So, let me search the healthcare issue, okay, guys? Because he did appeal Obama and Biden care, okay? Because, you know, when Biden took over Obamacare, it was changed to Biden care. And yes, Biden kept his promise to keep the health care that Obama made, to keep it the way it usually is, to make it more affordable. And so, yeah. Did Trump, when Trump appealed healthcare by Biden and Obama, he made it work. Damn it. Is Trump literally making healthcare more expensive for people? Here we go. See, it may not say yes in the early start of the AI search, but okay. The weaknesses of ACA, which he calls it, and associated subsidies, the Trump administration's effort to weaken the Affordable Care Act, meaning he's making it less affordable, not just for the poor, he made it less affordable for his white voters, his white supporters. But let's see. And its associated regulation alongside potential cuts to subsidies that help individual effort coverage could lead to higher premium and out-of-pocket costs for millions of people, according to analysts. At the Center on Budget and Policies, Priorities, and, of course, KFF. I don't know what that stands for, but I'll look it up. The expansion of short-term limited coverage plans. You see, I don't know if you knew this, okay, guys, but our house phone, okay, we get calls of female, okay, there are women that call us and they don't have no connections to Medicare, okay, and they'll say, hello, you are eligible to upgrade your Medicare because of Trump's new policy. Okay? But the problem is, Medicare is just one thing. Medicare. There's no actual upgrade unless we receive an actual notification from our doctors and the place we go that takes our Medicare services, you know? So, I have Medicaid, okay? So, instead of taking away the Medicare from people who already have Medicare, we're lucky that we didn't fall for their scams, because the government is using younger women and some adult mature women to call people's houses and to scam them. So when they say, oh, you are liable to upgrade your Medicare plan due to Trump's policies, meaning it's not really an upgrade, okay? It's just changes. And if the person agrees and decides to go with it, then he screwed himself over, okay? Now, because he fell for their scam, saying that they were liable to upgrade, and so he upgraded, he's paying more for the Medicare plan that he already had. Or he just loses his whole Medicare and they take it away. They don't upgrade. They don't give him another service from Medicare. He just loses it entirely. Okay? And Medicare is for elder people with health problems. We already all know all that. But so when that lady on the phone was talking about and then mentioned Trump's policies, I was like, you know what I like to do to piss these people off? I even piss off scammers in India, okay? And the American scammers, okay? Because, let me just tell you, before, I'm gonna start in a little bit, but let me just bring something funny while I started, okay? Before I started. So, one time, when my computer was fully messed up and I fell for that scam, I told myself, I ain't falling for that scam again. And one time, I got a message saying it was from Social Security, and the caller ID, it was from, I believe, Texas, I believe. And, I saw the message, right? So I called them up, and I asked them, hello, I got a message from you people saying that if I don't do something, my Social Security will get taken down, right? So he said like this, yes, we see that your Social Security is about to expire. No, it don't expire because my dad made his Social Security plan where it's permanent, okay? And it supports my Medicaid service as well as my mom and dad's Medicare service. My dad put my Medicaid plan, that is my, my health insurance coverage through his Social Security. Because let's just say it would take a lot of savings from your bank to put a permanent Social Security service towards your insurance, right? And so if my dad goes down, I inherited, or my sister will inherit, or my nieces who will inherit his fortune through Social Security. And of course the bank as well, I believe. But like, I've talked to a lot of my friends somewhat on my PlayStation. I have a friend who I met through someone else, and that other friend is his childhood friend. And so my friend who I met when I streamed Diablo 3, this was before Diablo 4 even came out, because Diablo 4 never came out at that time. And I had a PS4, I believe. That's where I was streaming at. And so I met this friend of mine. And he's a father. He's married now, but he also has guardianship over his son. And so, we get along because he knows I told him about my disabilities. He has experience dealing with that type of thing, because his son is autistic. But like, all that. And for the last thing I'm gonna mention, this will be the final conversation I'll put in the screen before I let's play, and then when I let's play and it uploads to YouTube, I learned, because I met people recently, and there's a lot of adults and a lot of young kids. And so I met a person on my YouTube channel. On YouTube, he goes by Bryce. And I'll let you guys know, he is very, very smart. Okay, he knows about the situation going on political wise. Why? Because he is living at the time of that crisis. And schools are always trying to teach kids about what's going on political wise and what's going on market wise, right? So the reason why they're teaching younger students about that, and here in this city in New York and US, you know, is because here in New York, the schools, Trump didn't take away and censored the education here. He wants to censor it, but those teachers, they don't give a damn about what he wants, okay? They're in school. They become teachers for one reason: to let their students know and pass down knowledge to their students so they could be aware and learn everything, not just political, but math, so that way then, later down the road, you never know, they could become intelligent with running a business, right? That's why the math lessons exist, is just in case if you start doing math with money, they also teach you that sort of math. But now that that conversation is over with, and I hope people would see this message, even if they're like 13 or 12-year-olds or 14-year-olds, or maybe younger, you know? And then parents of those younger children can explain to them what is the meaning of what I'm explaining. So if there's any parents who have interest in games or just use the YouTube service to watch videos and, you know, and you parents are aware of what's going on, I'm just leaving this message because a lot of parents know about this. Alright. And we shall make the Let's Play now. Oh, that's right. I didn't understand this. That's right. Oh, crap. What was the original like? Hold on. I never knew that there was 2 versions. Holy cow. Okay. I don't know if you guys knew this, but ever since I did that new update for my phone, I'm letting you guys know that update screwed up my phone quite a bit. What was the original version of I forget. Oh, okay. What platform was the original Shining Resonance a part of? What was the original Shining Resonance game on? What was the original not Star Resonance, Shining Resonance, man. Yeah, man. Oh my god, it didn't search everything when I put it in voice search. What was the original game of Shining Resonance on? See, it puts back the one that I searched before about Trump. I'm not trying to search. I was on PlayStation 3. The original Shining Resonance was a PS3 game type. It was a Japan exclusive, released in 2014. Did the original Shining Resonance game ever came to the US on the PS3, or was it in Japan only? It was only in Japan, and that's when it came to PS4. However, an expanded and remastered version called Resonance. Okay, the one I have is the remaster. Alright. So it released on PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Windows, meaning PC, and Xbox One. Interesting. So, that's cool. So you can play original mode, which is the very original version of the game. Or you can play the new version of the game, right? So you can play from both sides of the story. So I would just like to play the original before I play Refrain. Because if I think about it correctly, if I'm right here, Refrain had added new content, I believe. More content than the original. So we're just gonna play the original, and then we shall go to Refrain. Alright, let's, The tale of a boy who carries a soul of legendary dragon within him and his struggles. Okay, let me see this one. The tale of a boy who carries a soul of the shining dragon. So, okay, this one, it just says something else. Meaning, I believe this one is only part of the story. Hold on, let me just check if the original was not the full. If it was, it probably was only. But, did the original Shining Resonance game has, damn it, I said Resonance. Did the original Shining Resonance game had full content, or was it only halfly done? Let's see. Yes, the original Shining Resonance, released in Japan 2024 on PS3, featured a complete story and gameplay experience. Alright. Okay, so Refrain mode. This mode adds what if side story that incorporates two characters, Excella and Genus, who were initially unplayable villains, into the playable party. Shining Resonance Refrain also bundled over 150 pieces of downloadable content. So that means, yeah, it was completed, but they added more content. Alright. Well, there's my dad. Hello, Daddy. Hey, hey, Dad. How's it going? What happened?
I'm downstairs, so you reached something that I put.
Oh, did you buy me a Philly cheese again?
No,
Oh, is it beef stew?
no, don't know.
Okay, I'll kill it. Hey guys, I'm gonna delay the stream for a bit because I'm gonna eat. So, or better yet, I could just turn off the camera while I eat. And I'll probably mute myself while I let the cutscene play.
It's the enemy! They're coming! We're under attack! It's an elf! A dragoneer! All soldiers to the front gate! Go! Hurry!
Looks like she got their attention. That should leave this area clear.
Hell yeah, I knew Kratos was on.